Hi everyone, and welcome to this very first ScratchJr Basics tutorial. So, first of all, I would like you to go ahead and open ScratchJr either on your iPad or your Android tablet, and you should see the screen. If you don't see the screen, you may see this, in which case I would like you to come up to the top left and click on the ScratchJr icon. Or you might see this if someone hasn't exited out of their last project, in which case again you come up to the top left here and you just click on ScratchJr again, and then one more time, and we should all now be on this screen. So what we're going to do today is we're going to start a new project and we're going to learn some basic movement coding in ScratchJr. So to do that, we're going to come down to this house icon and we're going to click on it. And then you might see lots of other projects in this space here, but the only thing we need to worry about to start a new project is this little white piece of paper up here with the blue and white cross in the middle. So if we click on that once, we have our new project. So there's a few different things going on here and it can be quite overwhelming to look at for the first time. Don't freak out too much, it's quite simple. We'll go over a lot of the things today. So there's two really important parts of ScratchJr that we're going to learn about today. So the first one is the coding area down here, and you can see a blank space and you can see lots of coding blocks above the blank space. We can actually drag the coding blocks down into this blank space by pressing the blocks with your finger and dragging them down and then letting go once they're down here. We can't drag blocks up into this space up here. We can only drag them down into the coding area. Once they're in the coding area, if you don't want them there anymore, you need to put your finger on them again and just drag them back up into the bar and let go. And you can hear a little sound, sounds like a little whoosh, and that's the block deleting itself. So clear your coding space if you've been dragging some blocks around and practicing. And let's look at the other really important thing. That is our scene area up here. And the scene area is where all of the things that you've coded down in the coding area happen. So at the moment, if we come up here to this green flag and we click on it to start our code, you'll see that nothing happens because at the moment there's no code down in our coding area. Now, what I would like you to do very quickly is to take your finger and put it on top of Scratch the Cat here, and I want you to drag Scratch the Cat around. Whoops! I want you to drag Scratch the Cat around all over the place like this, and then put Scratch the Cat back in the middle like that. Now then, what you've just done then is not coding. Coding is when we tell a computer or a machine to do something for us. So by dragging it around, we've done something manually. We want Scratch the Cat to move automatically. Well, not automatically because we still have to come up here and we need to click the flag to run our code, but we want Scratch the Cat to do the movements that we set Scratch the Cat to do. We don't want to have to drag Scratch the Cat around all over the place. It's too much work and we want to be nice and lazy, and we only want to do it one time and then it will just do it as many times as we want. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to move Scratch the Cat from the left side of the scene to the right side of the scene without touching Scratch the Cat with your finger. So, first of all, we do need to put Scratch the Cat down in the bottom left of the scene. So grab Scratch the Cat with your finger and place it just down here. Make sure to not cut off its tail. We can't cut off Scratch the Cat's tail, that would just be horrible. And now we can start maybe looking at some code. Now there's three different ways that we could figure this out. So the first way would be to estimate how many steps it would take for Scratch the Cat to get from the left of our scene to the right of our scene. And when we get him over to the right, we also don't want to cut off his head. He'd just be so upset about that. So we need to make sure that Scratch the Cat gets over to here without cutting anything off. So let's have a look how we could do that. Now, the first way would be to estimate. And the very first thing we need to do when we're coding is we need to place a flag in this case. We'll talk about some of these other buttons in other tutorials, but for today we're just going to look at this flag icon. And what this flag is it tells ScratchJr that when we press the flag up here, something is going to happen. And at the moment, if we press the flag, nothing is going to happen again, because at the moment we're just saying when the flag is pressed and then there's nothing there. So we need to put something there, and we're going to click on these blue motion blocks and we're going to pick one of these blocks. And yes, you're right, we need to pick this blue block here with the arrow pointing to the right. And to attach these, you just click on the block and you drag it down, and then when you get it near the block that you want to snap it onto, you can see it gets a little grey shadow underneath, and if you drop it, it'll just snap on like that. So I only want one of these blocks, so I'll just snap this one off the end and I'll drop it back up here. And now we can start to estimate how many steps it would take for Scratch the cat to get from this left side of the scene to the right. And to do that, we're actually going to click in this little 1 in this blue right facing motion block. So I'm going to press in the 1 and we get this little calculator thing popping up in the bottom right hand corner. And so let's say I think to get to the other side it's going to take Scratch the cat 3 steps. I'm going to press 3 and you can see that the 3 inside the blue block down here, well, the 1 has changed to a 3. So if I press the flag now, Scratch the cat moves 3 spaces to the right. Obviously it's not far enough, we wanted to get all the way over the other side. So let's come up to this blue button here, and this is going to reset our scene to before we press the flag. So if we press on that, you can see Scratch the cat has moved all the way back to the left hand side. And so obviously 3 wasn't enough. So okay, let's make it 20 steps. If 3 wasn't enough, obviously we need a way bigger number. Let's try 20 and we'll press the flag again. We've gone way too far, and I'm not sure if you're paying very close attention, but Scratch the cat actually went all the way across and then teleported back over to the left. So that's no good, we've gone way too far. So if 3 is way too small, 20 is way too far, maybe let's try 15. Let's try 15. And we're going to press the flag again, and please guys, make sure that you're pressing the flag up here. It becomes really important to press the flag up here later on when we've got multiple lines of code. At the moment it would be okay to press this flag down here, but it's just a good habit to get into to press the flag up here. So let's try 15 steps. And I think we could maybe do one more, so we'll press the reset button, come down to the 15 and change it to a 16. Run it again, and there we go. Beautiful. He's made it 16 steps to the right. I think that's far enough. I think if we went to 17 we might chop the side of his head off a little bit, so we'll leave it at 16. That's pretty awesome. So there's another way we could do that. So let's reset the scene again, and if I'm actually just going to delete this code for a moment, so let's drag it up, and you need to press it from the flag, otherwise I'll just show you. If I click it from the 16, it will actually separate, and then I'll end up having to do 2 movements. If you press from the front of your code and drag it up, you'll pick it all up at the same time. So that's one way to do it. We've done estimating. There's another way to do it, which is quite easy to do, and it's just by dragging this right facing block down here. And now every time we click on this, we're going to count in our heads, or you can count out aloud if you'd like to, all the steps it takes until you're happy with where Scratch the cat is. So I'm going to press on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And there you go. So instead of estimating, we've actually now calculated that, oh hey, we need to move Scratch the cat 16 spaces to get all the way to where we want him to be. So we can just come here and we can type in 16 for 16. and we'll reset the scene once more. And you'll notice now, if we come up here and we press the flag, nothing happens. We have this code down here saying we'd like Scratch the Cat to move 16 steps to the right, but we haven't told Scratch Jr. to do that when we press the flag. So we need to attach this flag block to the start. And now if you press the flag again, there you go. So, let's move the code back up to the top there, and we will reset our scene. And then we're going to actually now, for our third way to try and figure this out, we're going to come up to this sheet of paper looking thing up here with the lines going down. We're going to click on it. And you can see here that we have a grid now. So on our grid, we have numbers going from 1 to 15 going up and 1 to 20 going across. And we can use this grid to help us figure out how many spaces to move Scratch the Cat. So rather than having to drag the blue block down here and click on it over and over and over again, we can just count whilst we're moving Scratch the Cat across the scene. So if we look at Scratch the Cat at the moment, we can see that he has this little blue square in his head, and we're going to use that as our center guide. So he's starting at 2, 3 in our grid. Alright, so let's drag him along and we'll count across until we've moved him enough spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And I would say that's about where we had him before. So we've moved Scratch the Cat from position 2 on this axis to position 18, which is 16 spaces across. So we know that when we do our coding with our blocks, we would need to put the flag down here and put the 16 in here, and then it will work. But because we've just dragged Scratch the Cat with our finger, if we press the reset scene button now, it's not going to reset, so we need to drag him back over. Let's put in there. And now if you press the flag, you'll see him move 16 spaces to the right. And there you have it. He's finished on 18 just like we thought he would. So, just before we move on, come up to this square here with the red line going through it and the grid lines, and just get rid of those. Reset your scene, and now I'm going to leave you with a challenge. I'll give you the answer in the next episode, but for now, I would like you to move Scratch the Cat with coding, not with your finger. I would like you to move Scratch the Cat from the bottom left to the bottom right, then to the top right, then to the top left, and then all the way back down to where we started in the bottom left. Good luck. I'll see you in the next episode.